We are here today because this is the exact 75th anniversary of the formal establishing of the Institute for Advanced Study. It was established when the Certificate of Incorporation was registered in the state of New Jersey on the 20th of May 1930, exactly 75 years ago today. Well, we'll be hearing more throughout the day about the events leading up to that key moment and some of what followed. But we should now recall that the Institute was created as a result of the enterprise and generosity of Louis Bamberger and of Caroline Bamberger Ford. Here, she's the sister of Louis Bamberger, and here with her husband, Frank Ford. Bambergers were modest, committed to charitable works, especially within the state of New Jersey. Here in this picture, Mary and sister Lavinia. When Louis died, the Newark Evening News wrote, "He was a calm, quiet man of simple tastes, who hated only ostentation and pretentiousness. For these his scorn was unmistakable. But for most of the foibles and failings of humanity, he had an inexhaustible tolerance. He was shy, reserved, and sparing of speech, but he expressed himself with directness and candor, and his words lost none of their forcefulness because they were invariably spoken in a voice little louder than a whisper." The Institute itself is the greatest memorial to the Bambergers, but typical of their self-effacing attitude, it's not labeled by their names. We were to have met, as I said, weather permitting, at the very modest memorial to them, Founders Rock, which is at the entrance to the Institute Woods. In 1950. In 1950, Founders Walk was ended from Ford Hall ceremony, which took place a bit over 20 years after the founding on the November the 20th, 1950. Path that was created extended from Founders Rock through the woods over the somewhat nerve-making swing bridge to the Delaware-Raritan Canal. We've attempted to spruce up this area again, and a new bench contemplate the scene. You can see here that what the path does is to extend axis. Here is so that its axis line on which the into the woods. So today we were to, as I said, begin there, and we were to be joined by four great friends of the Institute who represent the communities in which we live and who have kindly agreed to help us celebrate today. And so I'm now pleased that they've come here and I'm able to introduce them. And first I want to introduce to you the Honourable Phyllis Marchand, the Mayor of Princeton Township. Phyllis.
Thank you, Peter. And good morning. Someone said, well, it's the mayor that determines what the weather is going to be in the community. And I said, well, I thought it would be a challenge to have it rain, because this is a place where challenges have always been met. And you have met the challenge. I came in, I have a backup microphone in case this goes wrong, and everything was, I had someone accompany me to come down here with umbrellas. So I don't think the rain is going to put a damper on this at all. We're going to go away feeling that the Institute has just solved many more problems than they had expected to do today. But it's really a pleasure to be here, and I have a proclamation, of course, for this really beloved institution in my town, and a beloved institution in this region, in this state, in this country, and around the world. We owe so much to the Institute for Advanced Study for improving the lives of so many of us. And I was reading in yesterday's newspaper a quote from one of the faculty here, John Magnuson, who said, "This is a place, a space to think." And isn't that a luxury today for scholars to be able to have a place to think? Because with that comes wonderful creations that we all and our future generations will benefit from. So I do have a proclamation. I have some colleagues here who probably have other proclamations, so I won't do all the whereases, but there are just a few I did want to bring out. Whereas the Institute's more than 5,000 former members hold positions of intellectual and scientific leadership in the United States and abroad, and more than a dozen Nobel laureates and many more winners of the Wolf and MacArthur Prizes have been Institute faculty or members. And whereas the Institute, a key player in a successful public-private partnership, has enabled the beloved Institute woods to be conserved as an environmental gem in Princeton Township for our community and for people way beyond to enjoy. Now therefore I, Phyllis L Marchand, Mayor of the Township of Princeton, on behalf of the Township Committee and all of our residents, do hereby extend our sincere congratulations to the entire Institute for Advanced Studies staff, faculty, and distinguished alumni and community supporters on this occasion of its 75th birthday. And furthermore, I do hereby proclaim today, May 20th, as Institute for Advanced Study Day in Princeton Township, and I urge all the residents to applaud this unique and vital institution. And I thank you very much.
Now I'd like to introduce the Honourable Brian Hughes, Mercer County Executive.
Thank you very much. This is truly an honor for me to be here today to join in this anniversary and this celebration. Really, it's coming full circle for me as a young person who grew up in this community, and having 7 brothers and 2 sisters, we were sent out often into the woods, as often as possible. And so I got to know these woods as a young man, and after that I became a county freeholder here in Mercer County, and was proud that some of the first votes that I took was to preserve some of these lands from the Institute, and I want to thank the Institute for its support of the selling of the development rights when it was very, very important, I think, to Princeton Township and to Mercer County to create this area within our township and within our county where we can reflect on what life is and what life was. If you take a look at Princeton Township now, and especially with the addition of these Institute woods, you can see that there is a greenway around this borough, Princeton Borough, much as it was centuries ago, and so that is something that we should enjoy and cherish. Certainly the dedication today, I also, full circle, my wife Pamela, who's here somewhere in the back row, has been working here for 13 years, and we have been enriched by the experience of the Institute, the scholarship of the Institute, and the intellectual capacity that is here each and every day. This is a wonderful place, not only for Mercer County, but for New Jersey, because it allows scholars the opportunity not only to fulfill their work, but gives them the opportunity to think about the consequences of their scholarship, to give them the opportunity to reflect on not only the work that they're doing, but where that work takes us in the scope of a larger world. And that is very, very unique in higher education, certainly in a world today that's moving faster and faster and faster, but certainly in higher education, that opportunity to reflect on your scholarship, to think about what it is you're doing and what it means to the wider world, what you're doing, I think is a great opportunity and honor. Of course, politicians don't go anywhere without a resolution. I have one. It recognizes the 75th anniversary and this great dedication we have today of the recognition of that and the sculpture we have today. So I want to thank all of you for being here in Mercer County, but thank you on behalf of all of us who have enjoyed this place, enjoyed not only the scholarship, but the place itself and the way you have shared it with the larger community. Thank you very much. I appreciate it.
Next, I would like to introduce the Honourable Bonnie Watson Coleman, New Jersey Assemblywoman.
Thank you very much, Dr. Goddard. I am delighted to be here today. I had the occasion to come here for an early lunch one day and to talk to some of the administration about this wonderful place. As a member of the Appropriations Committee in the Assembly, I've had the opportunity to assist the state of New Jersey in manifesting its appreciation, understanding, and support of this wonderful endeavor as we move forward with the budget. This is a very unique experience, a very unique place in this country, in this world, and I'm delighted that it is here in the district that I represent, along with Senator Shirley Turner and Assemblyman Meade Gussiora. I mean, just the idea to have some place that values thinking for the value of thinking, recognizing that out of that unencumbered thinking can come some great applications, great ideas, and ultimately impact in a positive way our understanding of life and moving forth in the quality of life. So it is a delight for me to stand here as one of three individuals representing this great district, the 15th Legislative District, with Shirley Turner and Meade Gussiora, and presenting to the Institute this joint resolution, which acknowledges the 75th anniversary marked today and recognizes the work of the great Albert Einstein over 100 years ago, and just stands as a recognition of the great work that we expect in the future from the Institute. So on behalf of the Assembly and the Senate, Dr. Goddard, I am delighted to present this resolution to you today and wish you and the Institute many, many more decades of just wonderful thinking and ultimate happenings. Thank you.
Now finally, we had hoped to welcome at this point the Honourable Rush Holt, our United States representative. He was very much hoping to be here, but he is detained on important business in Washington. He has to vote. But he will be here, he says, and we're looking forward to this very much, at dinner. Rush Holt has very kindly provided a letter to us on this occasion. It says, "Dear Dr. Goddard, I take great pleasure in congratulating you and the faculty, trustees and members on the occasion of the 75th anniversary of the Institute for Advanced Study. Throughout its 75 years, the Institute has provided an outstanding intellectual environment that has attracted and supported many of the world's greatest thinkers. Today, you can take great pride in looking back over your remarkable history, celebrating the achievements of Nobel laureates, Fields medalists, and Wolf and MacArthur Prize winners who've been part of the Institute for Advanced Study. And we also look back to the extraordinary achievements of Albert Einstein 100 years ago. Today, I also want to congratulate the Institute for looking forward. The Programme for Women in Mathematics, with its annual workshop underway this week, is an important investment in the future of mathematics. The Millennium Science Initiative, which strives to create and nurture world-class science and scientific talent in the developing world, has established initiatives throughout sub-Saharan Africa and elsewhere in the developing world. Through these programs, the Institute is creating an environment for full participation in mathematics and science for all people at the very highest level. I congratulate the Institute for Advanced Study for 75 years of excellence, and I commend your commitment to an even more brilliant future. Sincerely, Rush Holt. Now, I want to now thank all of our four friends, not only for their very kind words of appreciation today, but also for their strong support over the years. Now, at this point in our proceedings, weather permitting, we would have moved from Founders Rock across to the Institute Pond. And moving to the Institute Pond, we would have seen across a new sculpture which has been put in place in the last few weeks. This sculpture by Helen Zimmerman has been made possible by the generosity of one of our trustees, Robert Menschel. Sculpture, as you can approaching it, consists of three what you might describe as benches floating amongst appear to be tree trunks. The sculpture combines elegance of form with an amenity, and that, as I've been watching it over the recent evenings, taken advantage of in exactly the way I think Helen envisioned. The passerby has come and looked at the sculpture and then taken up the invitation, implicit, to sit there and to look at take in the beautiful surroundings of the pond and the Institute woods, and to take time to contemplate. So in that way, the sculpture embodies one of the things that the Institute offers, one of the important things the Institute offers to scholars, to the ability to take time to sit and contemplate in beautiful surroundings. We're very pleased that Helen Zimmerman is able to be with us today. Helen is down there in the audience. She is a graduate of the University of California, Los Angeles, where she received her undergraduate degree and Master of Fine Arts in Painting and Photography. She's particularly known for her sculpture, but she's also accomplished in drawing and photography. And her permanent outdoor projects are noted for their use of stone, often in association with water and landscape elements. This is a fine example of her style, blending as it does into its natural environment. The benches have on each of them a quotation. The quotations are from three of the great figures in the history of the Institute. First quotation, which in a way embodies the spirit that moved the Institute, is from the founding director, Abraham Flexner. Those who have moved the world have usually been those who have followed the will-o'-wisp of their own intellectual and spiritual curiosity. And this institute was founded above all to foster curiosity-driven research. And the other two quotations offer, for the scholar and scientist, suggestions of humility and consolation. From Albert Einstein, all our science measured against reality is primitive and childlike, and yet it is the most precious thing we have. And then finally, from George Kennan, who died earlier this year, on consolation, true scholars often work in loneliness, compelled to find reward in the awareness that they have made valuable, even beautiful contributions to the structure of human knowledge, whether anyone knows it at the time or not. So those are words for us all to contemplate as we take advantage of a very beautiful sculpture by Helen. It's also our great pleasure to have with us today Robert Menschel, whose generosity has made this sculpture and so much else at the Institute possible. He has been a trustee of the Institute since 1992. He's a senior director of the Goldman Sachs Group and founder of its institutional investment department. He's president of the board of trustees of the Museum of Modern Art in New York. And he has given so much to the Institute through his contributions to the work of the board, to laying the groundwork for the Big Ideas series on PBS a couple of years ago. He's noted for his humor and incisive contributions. He supported scholarships, professorships, and academic programs at the Institute and has been unstinting in his support of it and his generosity. And I'd now like to ask Robert Menschel to say a few words.
I feel particularly at home today, not only as a trustee, but having visited Cambridge on 2 occasions. It rained both times, so I feel Peter and I are right at home here. I couldn't be more pleased than to be at the Institute here on Founders Day, even in this terrible rainy day, particularly to dedicate Helen's gorgeous sculpture, the bench, which is a tribute to all that has been accomplished here at the Institute over the past 75 years in advanced learning, in scholarship, and to what I know will be the glory days in the years ahead under Goddard's leadership, and particularly the faculty and the members that are part of, just a marvelous, marvelous institution. This project grew out of sitting at board meetings, and there were moments that when it got to numbers that I got a little bit worn out, and I'd look out at the pond and I'd say to myself, my gosh, this would be a wonderful spot for a piece of sculpture, and kind of a brief interlude, both for those of us on the board and sitting in the boardroom and those part of the Institute. And it was kind of a confluence of events with Kurt and Ellen joining the Institute that all of this came together. And I applaud Ellen, I applaud the Institute, and look forward to the days ahead, which can only be the best. Thank you.
Well, that brings our proceedings to an end. I hope the rain relents so that you will have the opportunity, without getting too wet, to enjoy firsthand this beautiful sculpture. We now move to the Ford Hall Common Room for coffee and the first session of our series of talks today, which will center, as you know, on the contributions of Albert Einstein marking the centenary of his Annus Mirabilis. Those talks will begin at 10:30. Thank you very much.